Welcome back to another episode of the Trainer Gallery podcast, y'all. We have a really cool episode today because AGS was nice enough to allow us this interview. We got some really cool questions for them. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. How's it going, everybody? My name is Aaron. I'm the operations manager here at AGS. I've been here since the start. It is sort of my job to run the office, create our standards, expand the business, and to reach out to people like you guys.
I'm Elliot. Elliot does Pokemon. Just one of the hosts around here.
Misty from PokePair.
And Shiny Vert. I'm really excited for this one. I'm so excited. We've been talking about some of the grading companies lately on the podcast. It's been a hot topic lately, and seriously, thank you again for giving us some time today. Elliot, do you want to go ahead and kick things off with a question?
Yeah, so this isn't where I was initially planning on starting, but recently there were the tariffs implemented, and I know some grading companies are keeping options open internationally and just kind of upcharging to match the tariff price, and others are just not taking the international submissions right now. So I was just wondering how you guys are handling that.
I mean, a couple of ways. First of all, again, thank you guys for having me. I think this is a cool opportunity to let more people know about AGS. Yeah, when the tariffs were announced, it was like discussed internally that we didn't want to have to change any of our pricing structure for our international customers. But we have another option. I was definitely hoping to talk about this a little later on, but we did also just open up an office in London, fully functional. So if you want to avoid shipping to America, you have that option to send to our location in London. They opened up about last week. I was just there getting all the staff ready. And what's really cool about AGS is because we use an AI system to grade our cards. The standards in our office in London are going to follow everything here. And really the pricing increases are going to come to insurance levels, when people have the value of their cards. And because a lot of our international customers work directly with sales reps or customer service reps or people on our marketing team, they're customers that we know personally. And we want to make sure to foster that type of good relationship with them. And if that means we have to take a little bit of a hit in order to stay in business with them, that's something we'll be glad to do. Pricing in this whole industry fluctuates. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower for people. And something that was really important to us at AGS is how do we keep this price accessible to people? So, if there's, we had to raise our prices as we expanded, but in order to sort of combat that, our bulk rate used to start at 100 cards. So to combat that, we lowered our bulk rate from 100 to 30 to sort of help customers deal with it. So we really just want to, if we have to take a hit for some of those customers, it's totally fine with us. But we are one of the only grading companies that has an international office set up, so they can avoid it altogether if they are international and want to send to our office in London.
Yeah, that's great. So how did that go setting up in just internationally setting up the grading company, and what made you guys want to start going overseas?
I guess the reason we wanted to explore going overseas is some other grading companies that have offices set up in Japan. The thing is, it requires a lot of maintenance, a lot of expenses to get them up and running, and then also making sure these people are following those standards. They have to go down in person a lot of the time, and it becomes a much more costly operation. But if we can build our lasers for them, we can get them our supplies, we can fully support them remotely. So our cost as expanding internationally is much lower. We have a grading standard rulebook that must be followed. We have programs that must be followed. So the idea of expanding internationally is our grading system can be sort of decentralized. It doesn't have to just be, I'm in Staten Island, I'm in our New York office, but we also have an office open in Miami at Collectors Club. And we have the office set up in London. The cool thing is all of those scans follow the same program. They follow the same AI grading standards. So, you may see some variance if they decide to change maybe the way the labels printed a little bit, but that's something to be seen in the future. But it's because we can decentralize our company, and we can have those same standards everywhere and fully support them remotely. It makes it a lot more reasonable to do so. And the thing is, we do get a lot of international interest. I think people who are overseas are a lot less afraid of a different grading company, especially in America. And I understand why. Like, I understand why people grade like it's PSA, it's PSA, it's PSA. Like, even if you're number two, even if you're Beckett, it's still PSA. I understand why people feel that way. The sentiment is not the same internationally. We were in the UAE, out in Dubai, performing live grading for people, and for them it was really great. The idea of like getting these American grading standards, this transparent grading overseas, is not something that's accessible to them. The cost already before the tariffs was very expensive, to get your cards graded. So what AGS allows us to do is like cards that are now worth like 20 to like $200. It becomes like a lot more reasonable to grade if you're someone overseas. Where like if you live in Europe, you live in Canada, you might send your Moonbreon, but you're not going to send everything else in your collection you want to get graded. Maybe some of those baby shinies, or your personal favorites. Like, you're strictly grading for those purposes. But when we expand internationally, it really opens up that like market. Even your $20 cards, the $200 cards, which I think is majority of cards. Most of them aren't 500 plus bucks. So there's a lot more to be done over there. Yeah, that's what I would say on it.
I really like the aspect of having all the open doors, especially internationally like that. And then on top of that, I think it's really cool that y'all do some of that on-site grading. And then just before we like proceed, just in case, I'm sure everybody watching probably already knows about AGS and the whole AI and stuff behind it, but for those people that don't know exactly how y'all grade cards, because I do think that's something that sets y'all aside a lot, is the whole AI process. Can you explain to them a little bit how y'all implement AI and how you're able to do on-site grading like that?
Yeah. So the longest part of the process of grading with AGS is like encapsulating it in the slab, putting it in the welding machine, like getting the physical process done. Excuse me. So how does our grading work? We take your card and we run it through a laser scanner, right? This is stuff we have patents on, and patent pendings for some of them. So nobody else could use this type of technology. So when your card runs through the laser scanner, what we're doing is we're taking a 3D model of your card. We're creating a 3D height map, right? We're not taking a photograph of your card or a really high-end photograph. Like, we used to have cameras in there, just the quality wasn't as good. So we use a laser scan to create a 3D model of the front and back of your card. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to measure the height changes when scratches are added, when dents are added, if ink is added. That's a huge one. And cool. Based on this, based on the severity of the changes in your card, then it will automatically deduct whether we have two sort of grading scales: minor damage, which can take away 0.001 of your grade, and then all the way up to 1 point. And then we have a major damage, which doesn't need to be large; it just needs to be deep in your card, right? Major damages can deduct anywhere from 1.25 up to about 5 points. And then lastly, we have something called a critical defect, which is essentially a crease or a tear in the card. It automatically brings your subgrade to a 1. And based on some of our grading standards, anything that has a critical defect can't be higher than a 5 or a 4. So once we have this height map of your card, this laser image of your card, we upload it to a computer visual annotation tool. It's similar to the way like self-driving cars like map the roads. Like, how do I know what a stop sign is? Well, you train it. Here's a bunch of stop signs, right? How do you know what centering is? Well, here's 10,000 cards, and we're going to draw lines around the centering and tell you this is what centering is. And now it can identify it on its own. So once we scan the card and upload it, all the grading happens. All the annotations happen automatically. The grades are calculated automatically. It is not my opinion. It is not somebody else's opinion. It is what it is based off the scan.
So is there a world where, I know this is a big thing with, like, let's take a company like PSA grading, where people crack and resub their grades a lot because obviously that's going through humans, and there's that argument that, hey, that maybe this guy had a great day last night and he's going to give you a higher grade the next day. With y'all using this laser technology, is there any world, I get where it can go, if let's say I got my AGS submission back and I crack that slab, I get that that can go down because it could get damaged in shipment and stuff, but technically it should never go up. Is there any world where that grade can go up by recracking with AGS?
So as long as the height map of the card stays identical, the annotations on the card and the grade calculated by the card will stay identical. Now, since we've opened, we have changed our grading standards. We've changed the way we calculate centering, and we've changed the way we calculate certain types of damages. Like corner bends now deduct more points than they used to. So let's say you had a card in 2022, 2023. It is possible to crack it open and the grade is changed now. But let's say you submitted a card and the next month you submitted the same card, right? Nothing should change as long as the height map is exactly the same on the card. Something we have noticed internally where there can be some variance is if our machines need maintenance. So again, the way it works is we have a laser that sits on top of a box basically, and we have a tray that runs through it. If something goes wrong with the tray, or if something goes wrong with the laser, what's locked into the laser, it can slightly alter that height map. So we do a couple of things to address that. We have biweekly maintenance, right, on the machines. And then we also have like some test cards. I actually have them on my desk. And every Monday we run these 5 cards on every machine we have in order to check if all the grades and annotations are the same. And if they're not, then we know our machines need maintenance. And if that happens, maintenance is only, a couple hours, happens at the end of the day. But I would say 90% of the time, if you're recracking your card and sending it back in, I love when people do that. People will submit their cards under one account and then they'll get it back, and they'll crack it open and they'll send it in under another account. I love when people do that. It's awesome. And then we can check sometimes if the height map matches previous height maps of the same card. It's how we can catch these things.
It's really cool.
But yeah, what can also if we build a new scanner that has like a new standard, like our original machine used to take like 30 seconds to scan a card, and now our newest model can scan a card in 3 seconds. But the way it scans completely changed the way we had to work our model. So it took a lot of training to basically get all the variance between the two different machines to be compiled into an even one. So my short answer is if you crack your card and send it back to us, 90% of the time or 95% of the time, they'll be the same. If for some reason it's different, it's most likely either old and our grading standards have changed, or maybe our machines needed some maintenance.
Super interesting.
Yeah, I just I can tell you, yes, it's 100% the same time, but I want to be as honest about this as I can be here.
Just
So
Do you guys? Oh, gonna go Vert.
go ahead, Missy.
Yeah. Do you guys do like the transparent grading where you show the defects with the cards, or do you kind of just keep that to yourself? Because
No. Sorry to cut you off. No, that is
Very
totally
good.
it's against what we're trying to do here. So I have some cards on my desk. This is one of my favorite cards, right? It's Torkoal right here. I just have a ton of them on my desk. But on the back of every card, there's a QR code that you can scan, and that QR code will show you images of your card, your subgrades, your overall subgrades, right? You can pay to unlock a subgrade report, but we give you 4 subgrades. If you pay, it's like $2. I think I was watching your tag video. It was like $75 for a grading report. That's nuts to me, and I'm not here to down talk other companies, but that's nuts. If you want a subgrade report, it's like $2, right, on your card. Excuse me. Why? Because it's a tech issue. We already have the information. We're just revealing it to you.
Right.
They have that information. You know what I mean? So we give you the 4 subgrades automatically, but we actually have 12 total. So we give you 4 for the front, 4 for the back, and then we average them. It's 60% weighted on the front, 40% weighted on the back. and you can pay $2 per card to get that revealed if you want the front and back breakdown. And we also show 8 images, and basically it'll be your centering scan, and it'll show you your borders, your surface scan, and it'll show you the annotations on your surface, your edges. It'll show you the annotations on just your edges. It blocks out everything else. So like, if there's something you don't agree with, you're like, wait, I didn't see that. Where is that? Well, let me go to my back corner scan and check it out, and we'll highlight that there for you. Yeah, it's the whole business model is to be transparent. I say a lot of these grading companies are doing like multiple choice math, but we're doing like word problems, and we need to like prove our work, you know. And you can unlock these upgrades at any time. You don't have to pay for them up front. Let's say you buy a card off eBay and they didn't pay for their port. Well, then you can just hit us up, pay for the upgrades, and then they'll be unlocked for you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have your
Go.
Shut it, Elliot. So you do AGS 10s and legendaries. What is the difference between the two?
Cool. Cool question. We used to not even do the gold label. To give you like a little bit of background like that, all of our labels used to be like this blue here. And we found like people weren't like super excited opening them up, right? It was you're getting your grade and it just is what it is. We found that adding that gold label for 9.5s and 10s gave our customers like a much more premium experience, and they're feeling more satisfied with the grade. And it's when you see that gold and you have it like this, you get that reveal. Did you get the 10 or not? It really changed the value we noticed for customers once we added the gold. We saw a spike in value from collectors and from resellers because now it is that gold label. People understand just before they even see the grade, oh, this is a premium card. So we wanted to take that one step further with our AGS legendary label. Lots of debates on what the label should be called, but this is like our attempt at like addressing like Beckett's black label. So they get 4 perfect 10s. And that's how you get a black label. An AGS legendary label needs to have 8 perfect 10s. So your every subgrade front and back need to be 10 in order to get it. So it's essentially a flawless card, a perfect card. If you have 7 out of 8 10s, well, it's not legendary. For example, like how much legendaries are out there compared to AGS golds. Like I'll order like 100,000 gold labels at a time, and in that time. I'll probably only go through like 20,000 legendary labels. So they're much more difficult to get. But to me, it is the highest value a card can factually be. They're a little less interesting to look at the scans because there's not much going on. But your card's like flawless at that point.
So speaking about like these higher grades with AGS and unlocking that gold tier and stuff, there was a video of a PSA 5 going to an AGS 9.5. Like what do y'all think about that? Is that a mistake on the human side of PSA? Could that be a mechanical error on the laser's end needing maintenance? When you see something like that, is it an automatic red flag of like, hey, this was a 5 before, maybe we need to double check this? Like, what do y'all think about all that?
We got the 5 because the person was like extremely shocked by it, right? It's there was no way this card was a 5, right? So they sent it to us to crack open and get it checked out, and we put it through our scan. We ran through the height map. My initial thought was there's a crease in the card, right? Because by our standards, right, by our grading standards, any card that has a crease, whether it's like a centimeter or like half an inch, right? If you have a tiny crease in your card, but by our grading standards, it's a 5 automatically. If the crease goes to an inch long, right, or you have multiple creases, automatically it's a 4, right? It can be lower, but it can't be higher. So my initial reaction is this card has a crease, like 100%. Maybe we can't see it right now, but let's go get this checked out. So we cracked open the slab, ran it through, no crease, no major dents, no water damage or anything like that. My assumption is there are a lot of steps to getting a card graded. It's not just the person who's grading the card. It's the person who's printing the label. It's the person who's slabbing it. It's the person who's welding it and packing it up. And I really think like it just got through quality control, just slipped through quality control, honestly. Because I would grade that card 100 times over. no way was it a 5. I think we actually we do this with our own cards. We send our own cards to PSA and Beckett and CGC, and we want to get those cards cracked and sent back, and we constantly compare them, to other grading standards. So I really think that was just like unintentional human error. Like one time, I saw a Persian that had like obscenities drawn on its face. Like someone sharpied, some fallacious things on it, and it got a PSA 10. I just really think that just slipped through. I just think it slipped through.
I had a PSA 6 go to a PSA 10 in a cracking video.
Yeah, dude. I mean, before AGS was opened, before AGS opened, I worked for the owner of AGS, right? But at night, my side hustle was to submit cards for him to PSA and Beckett, right? So I've seen this. Like I've submitted the same card over and over and over. We have a Typhlosion. We have a Typhlosion in the office. Got an 8, got a 6, got a 9. Guess what? We didn't send it back after I got a 9. We're good. We'll take it. But like that was my like side hustle, was like literally to help submit cards to these companies. And yeah, it can absolutely happen. Like, I did the math. Like a PSA, like I just want to say any company, right? I'm not going to say PSA, right? Like any company. Let's say they have a standard of how many cards they're supposed to do, and I know for some of these companies that standard is 500 cards per person per day, right? If I'm in New York, right? In New York, you have like a 45-minute lunch break. You have some 15-minute breaks that you're allowed. That's like really a 6-hour and 45-minute workday. They're getting 500 cards done. Statistically, that means they're looking at your card for less than a minute. And the amount of money I'm spending on submitting these cards, and like the upcharges that get forced upon me, it is really disheartening to think that they looked at this card for less than a minute or 2 minutes, like because the amount that they need to go through. These people aren't making crazy high wages. They're making normal, regular people money going through these cards, and they have metrics that they need to keep up with, and they have job standards that they need to keep up with. So that kind of, me as a customer, as a consumer, to not get any sort of like report back or subgrades or any sort of information as to like why I'm getting this. Like, what am I paying for? I'm paying for the label that will let me sell it for more money, but I like torque holes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not selling these. Like, I want these for specific reasons. I just think human error can happen quite frequently. Job fatigue. You're expected to do this every day. So also different people have different skill levels. You know what I mean? Like you can make a lot of money being a grader if you've been there, if you're a veteran. But if you're new, like you don't know who's getting your stuff. I don't know. Like I would really love it if if when you got your cards back, it told you who graded your order. That'd be great. Like which employee? Like I don't know. You guys ever heard of Lush? Like Lush is like a body wash brand, but like whatever item you buy. Yeah, Lush is great.
Oh,
right?
I killed them bath bombs. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Whenever you buy something from there, it tells you who did your order, right? Because it's all handmade stuff, right? So it's like, oh, you bought this from Jonathan. Oh, I got this shampoo from like Elliot made it. You know what I mean? Like that's cool, right? If you're not going to give me anything back, at least let me know who did my work. And like let's compare that to somebody else's work there. What if I send it back to that same person? Will they agree with it again? So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I really think it was just human error that got the best of them. They moved through tons of cards, and quality controls checks can be missed anywhere. But because of who they are, it's a bigger deal.
Jonathan bubbled me up.
I had a question. So you were talking about like the Persian that had like Sharpie on it, and that like slipped through quality control at another company. But if you guys got a card with an autograph, would that, I guess, depending on the service level, would the Sharpie on that, because it's an autograph, would that affect the grade at all, or would it just be if like there's random Sharpie marks all over the card?
Okay, so if someone has an autograph on the card that's done with Sharpie, the card can't be a 10. The autograph can be a 10. We want to get an autograph service there where we can grade the quality of the autograph itself. It's usually like 10, 9, or 8 is like the best it does. But we won't let the card be a 10. It can be a 9 if it was intentionally autographed. What will happen is when it runs through the machine, it will get annotated as damage. It'll get picked up as damage. Okay. But what we'll do is we'll manually go in there and delete the annotations on the autograph, so it doesn't get highlighted on your report as damage, because that is what's making your card special. So it's like an error card. Error cards can't be 10s. They can be 9s. They can be 9.5. They just can't factually be 10s. And as far as like authentication, we really only authenticate certain signatures that we have in our database. A lot of the times we go to the cons, we'll try to get copies of the signatures of the people who were there prior, so we can compare them to what we get autographed. Yeah, we can't do every signature, so we'll let the customers know when we get them, because this is not something like our tech can do fully at scale. We need to keep gathering that information in order to authenticate it properly. You know, like my staff can tell you like every MetaZoo artist signature off the top of their head. You know, like, they know which ones are real or not. But we need a way to like integrate that into the tech, and that requires thousands and thousands of autographs. You know, at least dozens of the same persons over and over to better authenticate it. But again, cannot be a 10. We will manually delete those annotations so your card isn't marked as damaged when it's intentionally autographed. Now, if you have Sharpie on your card, you know, we usually won't grade it because it's considered an alteration. A lot of the times, what people will do is they'll put like blue marker on the corners or edges of their card. If we catch that, the card will just be marked altered and shipped back to you.
I kind of have a follow-up with that. So if you have a card that's graded and it gets like an 8, and I guess that someone gets the report of what was either specifically damaged or I guess whitening or creases, and they end up cracking the card and do something to take the crease out, or like you just mentioned with the blue Sharpie, cover up the whitening. Is it easy to, with the like laser technology grading, is it easy to pick that up that the card was altered in that way?
Okay, it is easy to confirm it. It is like it becomes a matter of fact once we use the technology to do it. So what happens when we scan your card and we get that 3D model is we can check the measurements of your card. I just did a video, I think with like Coach Collectibles. It should be somewhere on YouTube. You guys can check it out. But I show the measurements of a card from our scan. Now, what happens when we upload that? Like, we don't see the measurements, like the grading, we don't see the measurements, but the tool is available. So when your order comes in, we unpack it. The first line of defense is the human eye, right? The person submitting your cards for you or confirming your submissions. That's where we first look for alterations and fake cards. And if we can confirm it there, cool. It doesn't even get run, right? If we can confirm the card there, it won't even get run by the machine. If we're not 100% sure, we will run it and then use our measurement tool basically to confirm our bias. So when we first opened, and we're a naive little company and thought everybody had our best intentions in mind because they wanted to see us succeed, we had less checks and balances. And we ended up grading like 50 fake first edition stamps from the same customer, right? We made a whole video on it. The owner came out, we made a whole announcement on it. But that's when we added that level of security with that measurement tool. So now when cards come in and they have first edition stamps and we suspect they're alterations, like the T is not in the proper spot or the ink's a little smudged, we'll then take a measurement of the card to see if the ink was added after the card was printed, if it's on top, if it's a higher layer, you know, and that will let us confirm. So the tech can do it, but the only way to confirm it is for us to have the suspicion and then go in there and basically confirm it as a matter of fact. Like there's no like red alarm that goes off and it's like fake, you know what I mean? And if someone tried to like put a card like under like a textbook or something to like flatten its warping or hopefully try to remove a dent or remove some moisture, you know, I may not know that. Like they can totally go for that. But if someone's trying to alter the trimming or the ink on a card, absolutely can find that. And if there's evidence of any sort of like wax or like fill-in on the card, like a Kurtz card cleaner, if someone was using that, then we couldn't accept it because now it's technically altered.
What about error cards? Like, let's say an error card that has been.
I'm so sorry.
Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I thought I was on Do Not Disturb, but somebody still got through. Sorry. Let me just fix that real quick.
Are you fine?
Okay.
So I didn't hear that last question. Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, I was I was going to ask you about error cards. Like, let's say the top is cut off and it's a legitimate error card. Because I've pulled cards like that where, you know, you might not even have rounded corners on one side. It could just be a clean cut and the card is smaller. Do y'all grade error cards like that? And then on top of that, I don't know if you saw it when I cut the cards and sent them to CGC. I manually cut them myself with scissors, but they still graded it as an error. So do y'all grade error cards? And if so, how would you pick up on if somebody manually did that?
I guess it would be how clean the cut is. There's usually evidence of like whitening, or it's like usually when these cards are cut on the machine and they are error cards, they're completely straight. We can measure the angle, the degree of the cut, right? Again, with the measurement tools that we have inside of our program. It's called Observer. So if everything checks out there and the error card looks legit, the angles are complete 90 degrees, then we're good to go. But if somebody tried trimming the card, like we see a lot of people, they're like paper cutters. You sort of put the card like this and they use like a paper cutter, sort of trim it. If there's more abrasions on the card on the edges, then no, we can't accept it. Okay. That should be rejected. Yeah,
I cut
error
that
cards.
Thing,
yes,
I cut it at a 45-degree angle, like it was a freaking pizza, and they still said it was an error.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, that's something I think that should just be not accepted. Like just CYA. Just cover yourself. Just don't accept the card. Yeah. Like they're doing fine. One type of so yes, we take all types of error cards. So there are certain types like we won't take. Like we don't take sun fading anymore. Because you can manually sun fade a card yourself. You can set it to those conditions. So like we really like the crimp errors, the off center errors. Maybe like gray first edition stamps. Like the more common stuff we can definitely take. But like sun fading, for example, like if it can manually be done. And there's no way to prove that it wasn't manually done. Like what you're saying, cutting the card, there's a way to check to see if it was manually cut or not. But there's no way for me to know if you left your card, in a way that it can get sun damage. So I just no longer accept those cards. Error cards can no longer get a 10 in the past in our grading standards. They used to be able to. It's like, yeah, this card's off-centered, but for an off-centered card, this is a 10. We had a lot of internal discussion about that, but the rule is no more. 9.5 is the highest an error card can be.
I like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Go
ahead, Elliot.
So recently, I'm not sure if you saw like the whole thing with like the Alpha, Delta, whatever cards that were being just printed, and I think they were printed in maybe 2022, but they were marked as like 1990, like the just the test cards that everyone was looking for. Would your machines be in lasers in the AI be able to pick up on the metadata that says that it was created not 20 years ago but like 2 years ago? Or would that be something that just doesn't even get through?
No, that's completely different technology. Like that wasn't even caught by CGC. Like that's what a community does Pokemon have, because it was the community that found this out. It wasn't the grading companies. Sometimes they care more than everybody else. No, our machine is a scanner. It's a laser scanner. That's what it's doing. It's picking up on the data there. There's no metadata on what's being printed. The only thing I guess I would have to say about that whole situation is like they probably should have been a lot more skeptical once all of a sudden these cards started popping up. Like I get how the first couple could get through, but once these start being a more common occurrence, like something's up. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I ultimately think CGC is going to be fine. And I think this is like ultimately marketing for them. Like their submissions haven't dropped because of this. But I would just be more skeptical. I get skeptical when like I'm traumatized. So whenever like a first edition card comes in, I'm so skeptical. Like it's gotta be checked. So I just think someone should have been more thorough there. Or maybe they let it slide for the sake of getting it out there. And whether it's good news or bad news, people are talking about you. People will forget, and they're going to keep submitting with them. So ultimately, like long term, like not to be like a nihilist, but like I don't think it mattered for them that they graded these fake cards. Just the amount that they did, I think someone should have been skeptical about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our machine is just a laser. It's a laser that
Okay.
picks up the data on whatever it scans there.
So on your submission website, you guys talk about doing a 20-day turnaround. And recently, a couple other grading companies have been taking longer than what they say. Are you guys actually able to do the 20-day turnaround?
Yeah. So it's funny because I think I heard you guys talking about this in one of your videos. So every week I get an email sent to me. It's automated about how long it takes for a card to submit. So based on recent data from April 4th at 8:20 p.m., I go to my robo grading report now, and average number of days taken from confirmation to shipping, 19 days. Now, if you account for business days, that's currently a 15 business day turnaround time. So right now, based off last week's data, we're getting cards out on an average of 15 days. So yeah, we are able to commit to that. We do have like larger customers who send us like a ton of cards in, so they're cool with it not being like in that turnaround time, because there's just a greater quantity. But for our regular customer, yeah, we strictly go by date. So like every part of the office, every order is marked by date and what date it needs to be shipped out on. And if we have to stay late, then we have to stay late. But cards have to be marked shipped, before that time. If they ever aren't for any reason and you reach out to us, we'll do everything we can to make it right, whether it's a credit on your next order, a partial refund, like we'd be glad to assist there, because this is what we're advertising.
Yeah.
There's got to be some rules to it. So right now it's taking about 19 days total, 15 business days. So the turnaround time operates on business days. I can't ship on Sunday. I'm the only person here, right? So Saturday and Sunday don't count when it comes to our turnaround time. We did have a disclaimer. This problem has largely been solved. The only reason something could take longer is if we didn't have it in our database. So we are very TCG focused, and we've always tried moving more towards sports. But the TCG market has been way more receptive of us. So, excuse me, there are millions and millions of sports cards out there. Not all of them are in our database. So if it's not in our database, it takes longer to confirm your card. So we put a disclaimer on our website. If your card isn't in our database, it could take longer to confirm. It could take about 2 to 3 weeks to confirm. That mostly happens with sports cards. But since then, we've taken a lot of initiative. We've added about 3 million sports cards to our database. In order to, it's a lot of like a lot of hours have to go into doing that. And the thing is, yes, cool, we did 3 million sports cards in our database. We'll maybe see 2,000, 3,000 of them, but now they're there and it makes the submission process faster. So it's something we're always working towards, like innovating and improving and automating in ways that other companies said were impossible or that they couldn't do it. We are finding ways to do those things. But turnaround time is hugely important. The lowest I ever saw our turnaround time was about 7 days, like 7 business days. It was like the lowest we ever had it at. It was just like people were in flow states, and our we've kept this. So for some perspective, our order size have sort of tripled in 2025, the amount of cards we're doing. So by the end of February this month, we did more cards than we did like in the first 6 months of the year before. So even with the more cards that we have in the building, we doubled our staff in-house to account for that, but we've more than tripled our output and we're able to still keep to this turnaround time. We talk about value a lot, like PSA is value, right, when it comes to grading, but I really believe first to market is where the value is. If you can have your hit, it's a destined rivals, right? If you can have your hit in 2-3 days, if you can have your hit in 10 days and you're looking to flip that, right? Well, now that it's graded with AGS and you got it out fast, you're going to make good money off of that, whereas if you send it to some other companies and you're waiting a longer time, the value could go down. It won't, over time will go up, of course. Well, usually these things always trend upwards, but you'll have your spike and then your dips. But if you can get it out right away in the first 2 weeks of these cards being there, in the first week of this card being there, then you're really able to maximize your value regardless of the company that's doing it. And we hope to keep, pushing that standard and, keep pushing that value for people because it is something that matters. It's something that matters to a lot of these customers. So yeah, I think first to market is very important as well, and that's why our turnaround time is great for that.
So y'all have like the turnaround on lock, it seems, but we've spoken a little bit about other grading companies, whether it's PSA, CGC, Beckett, this or that. I don't know if you can answer this, but right now, who would AGS say is their biggest competitor, and what are y'all doing to have the advantage over them?
Okay, you guys ever watch Vinland Saga by any chance? Does anybody know what that is? If not, cool.
I'm uncultured.
No, okay. There's a quote. It's an anime. There's a quote from there. It's like, I have no enemies. Nobody does. Right. So like, I like to think like there's no enemies, but like, if we're looking in terms of like competition, there's two ways to look at it. I believe within the next 6 months, we will be grading more TCG cards monthly than Beckett does. So right now, our target as far as like quantity we're looking to beat is beating Beckett in TCG, right? And I believe our numbers are very close, and we're getting closer. And it's gonna be sweet victory when we do, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when it's gonna happen. So that's one aspect we in the office talk a lot internally about. I guess, and then in terms of like marketing, like an opponent. It used to be like HGA, but they're not really around anymore. They talk about doing something similar. There's Mana. They talk about doing something similar to us, and then there's Tag, of course. Like Tag would be like our number one in terms of like marketing opposition, doing things similar to what we're doing. The reason I'm not like super scared from Tag is like the way they grade cards was our demo version. That was our demo version of our whole AI model. We found a better way to do it. And that's why we really believe in the product we have. But yeah, there's definitely lots of money involved in Tag's marketing. Lots of content creators are getting involved, and we are looking to constantly push that envelope and compete with them in that field. I definitely think we could be doing a better job of outreach with content creators and also education on AGS. I feel like once consumers are educated on how we do things, why we do things, the level of care that goes into it and the customer service you get, I think people are much more swayed once they understand who we are and what we do. But I couldn't not acknowledge that there's loads of marketing for Tag, but they do. I believe that they use some form of AI grading. I think it's a lot more rules based than ours. I think our standards are better. So when it comes to like quality and marketing, I would say Tag would be our proponents there. When it comes to quantity of cards we're grading, it would be Beckett at the moment.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
We're working towards it.
I will say, you're here talking to us, and Tag has been ducking out.
Listen, I'll go on any stage. Any stage we can talk about this.
No, it's cool to hear all this insight, man. I guess this might be another question that you can't answer, but I'm sure everybody at AGS saw it. It was a big deal that Tag was going through some recent drama with their slabs breaking easily and whatnot. And at the end of the day, they came out and admitted themselves that they have no PR team. Are y'all ready? Do y'all have a PR team if something ever, went down like that with AGS? Like, because a lot of people, they got a lot of backlash for handling the whole situation with Ramsey and stuff very poorly. And they just basically said like, hey, it's just the investors. Like, we've invested in this company. We're going to be the ones to answer this, but we have no PR team. Like, is there any structure that y'all have like on a more professional level that would handle a situation like that?
No, honestly, it would just be us. I think we're a lot smaller size wise when it comes to the amount of staff we have from these companies. The only time we ever really faced a controversy was like the first edition stamps in our first year of business. And the way we addressed it was like, first we had like an internal team meeting about it. And then we decided to put out a statement where the owner came out and spoke about where we messed up. And then we deactivated all of the pages that had fake first edition stamps. If somebody tried to sell them, we worked with eBay to get people refunded. But like, this was like me, the owner, our social media manager, and then we did AMAs with our community after. and we got a lot of feedback from them. So we went on Instagram. We're like, hey, this day we're doing an AMA. Feel free to come in, express your concerns. We want to hear you. And we got a lot of really good feedback. And that's what led us to make steps and further enhance that measurement tool to adjust for ink levels and trimming. And then we put out videos addressing how we're changing. I think it's okay to make mistakes. You know, like people make mistakes, companies make mistakes. It's not okay to keep repeating the same mistake over and over. So what's important for me is like if you do something wrong, it's acknowledging it and taking accountability. And then, but that's not enough. It's what are you going to do to address it and make it better? You know, so we did that. You know, we deactivated all the pages, got people refunds, did AMAs with our you know, followers, I guess, and then made structural changes in the company to address finding these issues, so people can feel safer with us. Yeah, hopefully, you know, there's no further AGS drama or controversy out there. But no, right now there's no professional PR team right now. I think well, we are largely self-funded right now, and you know we're lucky that we're able to do that. But a lot of these companies have lots of big money behind them, people who are looking to flip it for a profit. And this has really started as like a passion project for us.
Oh, that's awesome.
If something goes down, I'll be in the trenches. You know, I'll be in the comments. We're gonna figure it out. You know, can I show you guys something nerdy real quick that I really like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the AGS rubber band ball.
This is great.
These are all the submissions that come to us with rubber bands. There's a rule, you have to leave the rubber bands on my desk. So I started this last year. The goal is to make it like basketball size or make one a year. You know, one a year. So this started in June of 2024. So every submission that came in, it gets saved. You know, hopefully,
awesome.
Yeah, it's a silly thing, but like I like seeing it grow. It makes me feel good, like, you know, us as a company. You know, yeah.
I'll be adding to that soon.
Yeah, please do. Like I tell people, I'm like, please send rubber bands to your boy. You know. So to get back to what we were talking about a moment ago, yeah, there was a great video somebody put out where they were testing all the slabs of different grading companies. They put them through stress test, scratch test, twist test. I was happy and unhappy with the video. You know what I mean? Like I definitely see places that can be improved upon. But I thought it was a great video. I think it's great content for the community. And also it's great to see like what matters to the community the most, you know, like what's the most important thing to them. So with tag, you know, with the slabs cracking that easily, I don't think that's a great look. You want your stuff to be protected. Like that looks like it could easily fall and crack out, you know, which is not what you want. You know, you want like maybe like a dent in it, but you want it to stay structurally together, like worst case scenario. But I do believe that it's an easily solvable problem if their company's proactive. Like you can change the millimeter thickness. You can change how long you weld. You know, there's so many things you can change in order to solve that problem, that I think it's small potatoes. Like I would love to like come out here and like make fun of them for it, but I think it's such a fixable problem. You know, if I was personally a tag collector, if they updated their slabs and made an announcement, I would want them also to re-slab cards for free for the people who had their old poorer quality. You know, something we did is like if you had an old AGS 9.5 and it was a blue label, you could get it changed to gold for free. You know, if before we had legendary labels, that was a category. If you had an AGS 10 that qualified for legendary, we would re-slab it for free at no charge because that's what it always should have been. And that slab quality is not acceptable, and it shouldn't be that. And they can easily solve that problem. And if they want some good PR, this is I shouldn't be saying this, but they should offer that service for free to their customers to get their cards re-slabbed, because you cracking your slab or you guys cracking out your slabs is a lot different than me cracking your slabs in our lab. You know, like we can do it much safer, you know, to minimize card damage. Like you don't want to do that at home, you know, so that service should be free. I think it's something they should take on the chin to do right by their customers. Every weld we do, like every card we do needs a twist test. Like it needs a twist test. Like when we turn on the machine, and if it crinkles, if it pops, something happens, then the machine needs to be calibrated. But that's not their problem. It's just that they're structurally not super thick, and they're not being welded. In my opinion, they're not being welded for a very long time, and that's what makes them pop so easily. They should solve it. They should solve it.
Absolutely.
And I think content, like comparing all the slabs like that person put out, is great content for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the HGA slabs. It's a shame nobody cares about them right now, but like their slabs are awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess that's what I have to say on that.
What about so I've seen some people talk about this, and not that it's a bad thing whatsoever, because I've seen massive companies like Pepsi go after Coca-Cola or anything like that, but I've seen a lot of y'all's marketing on Instagram and stuff is like you might show something really negative about PSA and be like, but this is what we do better. Is most of y'all's marketing where, I don't want to use the word bashing or attacking another company, but kind of showing something they're lacking in to show what's better about yours? Like, how come y'all do that rather than just showcasing the dope stuff about AGS? 'Cause I've seen some negativity about that where it's like, hey, why are y'all, going after this company? Why not just show your own stuff?
Fair. I mean, I totally think that's fair. There's definitely a lot of internal discussion and debate about that. I don't always think it's the best strategy. I think there are some aspects. Sorry. Whoa. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
Tag is attacking.
No.
Sorry.
I have a standing desk. I was just trying to adjust it, and it freaked out on me. Okay. So yeah, I guess to speak on that a little bit. Part of the reason we do that is we are really like unhappy with the standards that have been set. Like, we were collectors first, before we were a grading company, we were collectors. We played. I remember the first time, I'll never forget it. Like, the owner of the company saw me playing Yu-Gi-Oh in the break room before AGS was a thing. The next day, he came in with a deck of cards, and he was like, "Aaron, I need you to stay after work." And I was like, "Oh shit, what did I do wrong?" And then I went to his office, and he whipped out a Lightsworn deck, and I was like, "Oh, you play, play." So like, we've always been players and collectors. So I think part of doing those types of videos are to express what we're dissatisfied with, and express that we are not happy with these standards that are coming out. We've all just sort of accepted it. We've all just sort of accepted this, and I think the amount of money we're putting into this hobby, this engine, is like, we should be satisfied, and things should be improving. And what happens is, like, when the problem with incumbency, right? When I say incumbent, like, PSA is the top dog. The problem with incumbency is you don't need to innovate. You don't need to change anything, right? Like, you're doing your thing, and everybody else needs to do stuff, right? So we're always trying to innovate and elevate our standards, what we're doing, and how we do things. And we kind of, I feel like we want to showcase what they're doing wrong and how we're doing it correctly. Now, yeah, I personally agree with you. I definitely think there's some, I think bashing the other companies can definitely happen a little less. Like, we don't need to, like, I'm not like a controversial person. Like, I think I spoke to you guys before the interview. Like, I'm not here to try to badmouth other companies. Like, they have different standards. But like, our marketing aspect has definitely been like scrappier in that regards. They're here for all the smoke. So there's upsides and downsides to that, where I do think it's important to show us like a different comparison between the other companies. We've been doing it more over time. Is people, there is a certain type of customer that will only grade if the value is there for them after they grade. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why they are in this, right? That's totally cool. So I will do my best to showcase our value compared to other companies' value. So comps. We'll look at comps. Let's post the comps. Let's try to get it out there in as far as marketing, comparing it most often to CGC, right? Because that's usually like where we're right around there, or we do a little better. I've had AGS cards sell for more than PSA cards, but it's less common than like an AGS selling better than a CGC. That happens every day, right? So I do think it's important for the community to see that aspect of it, rather than being like, oh, this company sucks, here's why we're good. I think showing the comps is very important, because some people won't give you the time of day unless the comps are there, no matter how cool your tech is, no matter how innovative you are, no matter all the benefits you get. Like with AGS, like you can get all eights upgrades. You can get the 3D laser map. We can send that to you on your QR code. You know, you can get a custom AGS display box. You can get a cleaning service. Our priority turnaround times are much cheaper than other companies, and our turnaround time in general is faster than these companies. That's still for a lot of people not enough. You know, it's just strictly value. So we want to put the value out there. And if we can compete with the value, then that will bring a new type of customer in. But yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to what you're saying, that we could focus more on what is great about AGS. You know, I think you'll really see that in AGS UK. If you guys follow them on Instagram, it's a newer page. I would check them out. But they're really focused on like what are the positives of AGS. You know, and I think it might be easier for them being an overseas company. There's less competition there, but I definitely think there's merit to restructuring our marketing approach, and hopefully we can deliver on that in a way that's satisfying for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, easily said AGS over CGC all day long, but I do.
Yeah.
I do want to say earlier, I meant to say this earlier, but my camera died when you were saying it. But something that was so beyond refreshing to hear from you as a company, somebody that's representing AGS, is that whole thing you talked about of like taking accountability and like it's okay to make mistakes, because that's what I've talked about in so many situations with some of these other grading companies, is that you don't see that a lot. And that's exactly what you want to see as like a customer when you're putting trust into a business. Like, yes, it's okay for them to make a mistake. And I think it's really cool how y'all came out and you fixed that. The owner made a statement, all this stuff. And then even how you're answering that last question and stuff, it's just really cool, really appreciative of you giving all these honest answers to some of the, I guess, harder questions. I've been trying to ask stuff that's like more controversial, I guess, but it's just awesome to hear.
No. Yeah, I mean, in integrity, like integrity. Because like I go home at the end of the day by myself. You know what I mean? I have a family, but like I have to live with myself. You know, and operating with integrity is the biggest thing here. Like, yes, it's a tech company. Yes, we're grading with AI, but we are humans.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people in this office, and we care a lot about what we do because we're trying to make changes to the standards and what people accept. We're trying to make innovations, and we have to move forward with that integrity. Like, I don't want to be like sketchy or like a con grading company. That's not what we're doing, you know. And to me, it was great. Like, as an like, I'm an employee, you know what I mean? Like, I don't own the company or anything like that. I am the ops manager. I was the first AGS employee. Like, I'm proud of all that. But to me, it was a huge deal that my boss, the owner, came out and was like, "Hey, ultimately, this is on me." You know what I mean? And was the one to address it. And you know, we haven't really had to make more statements like that. You know, but I want to stay on that level of integrity and transparency with you guys, with everybody. You know what I mean? I spent like 3 days in my personal Instagram DMs talking to this guy who hated us. He submitted 4 cards with us, like over the lifetime, but he hated us, you know, and he was sending me DMs about it, and I did everything I could to address all of his questions. And you know, whether he, at the end of the conversation, he didn't want to submit with us again, but he was a lot more understanding of where we came from, and he understood the process. And like, he understood that we're decent people, you know, and being a decent person, like righting your wrongs and making things better, improving things for your customers. That's the number one thing.
So right now, y'all have, I mean, it seems like you got a lot of really good things going for you. With the turnaround times are great, the AI technology, the integrity of the company. And it sounds like the one thing y'all might be working on more is getting the value.
Did he just freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Am I back?
Pause for suspense.
We got technical difficulties over here. But it's like you got all these good things. I don't know what all you heard, but the shipment times to market, integrity, all these great things, the AI. Sounds like the one thing y'all are working on right now is the value and being compared to, like, you know, PSA is the standard of value right now. Do y'all have any plans to try to get AGS grades to be more valuable in that regard?
Yeah, I think it's getting AGS slabs in the hands of the right people. I think that's a big
Mhm.
thing because once people who are more notable in the community value us, it has a trickle down effect. So if I get a large submission from someone who's notable, they show it to their audience. I see a direct wave of orders come after that. There's a direct
Yeah.
correlation with them. So it's really, for me, it's getting slabs in the hands of as many people as possible, putting them in the right people's hands. And sometimes that means you take a little hit on the money you'd like to make, if you can get it in the person's hands. But the more AGS labs are out there, the more shows that they're at, the more brand awareness, it will naturally increase the value. Like what happens on eBay happens on eBay. Like I have no idea what happens there. It's great to see. Like my social media manager is like always refreshing comp pages. But I think getting them into the hands of streamers is a huge thing. I think being at more shows and doing live grading at places is a huge thing. I think partnering with a collectors club, it's like a luxury card shop in Miami. Truly, truly one of a kind. I like look it up like yourselves. I don't care if you can edit this out. Like it's fine. Look it up. It's so sick. It's so sick. And it's basically a high end luxury store for collectibles. And there's an AGS grading component built into the store. So now we're grading more high end luxury cards, a lot more sports cards, and there's a lot of value there. So I think the value will increase in time. And as the number of cards we grade monthly increases, the more they're out there, it will increase. These things take time. People said Rewa didn't exist after the first year. People were like, I'm not grading with AGS, they'll be gone in a year. I'm not grading with AGS, they'll be gone in 2 years. And then every year they tell me that. And every year we're grading more and more cards. And now we're hitting that 5 year mark in TCGs, right? Like I have this game right here, Grand Archive, great game, right? In TCGs, when they are Kickstarter funded, there's like a big saying that's like, if a TCG makes it more than 3 years, well, then they're here to stay, and that they're going to be doing big things. And with grading companies, a lot of the feedback was like, hey, once you guys are here for 5 years, people will know that you're not going anywhere. People will know that you're here to stay. And then we think you'll become a lot more legitimate in that time. And here we are. We're getting to year 5. I don't think we're going anywhere. We're expanding. We're doing quite the opposite of going anywhere. We're going more places.
That's great.
So I also think the market internationally will help us as well, just because there's less competition out there, and we can also bring like American grading standards overseas and that quality. I also tell every person who grades with AGS who speaks to me to not undervalue it because it's AGS. Like, don't let it go for cheaper because it's AGS. Like, you can back up your grade with data. Like, you know what I mean? You can back this up. You can get it out there. So don't give up to the sellers too. I've seen people hold out for what the card's actually worth, and then they get that. So that's more of a personal component, but getting it in more people's hands, getting it in the right people's hands, having people make more content about it, showcasing the value as often as we can, and just and maybe more live show appearances. I think would be really good for us because that's where we meet some of the best people is at these live shows, and I can have them sit down at the scanner and do everything themselves. They can literally grade their own card because it's a system. You know what I mean? So having people who are able to do that and come in live and see that really, really helps.
That's really cool that you can do that.
Will y'all be?
Oh yeah, good.
Will y'all be at Card Party Tampa with an on-site grading?
Card Party Tampa. I don't know. If you're interested in having us there, you can text me that after the podcast, but you can also reach out to our Instagram page and then also Collectors Club Instagram page because they're in Wynwood, so it might be like a lot more feasible for my team out there to go.
Oh, cool.
What about like I don't know if you'd ever be open to this or if AGS is open to this. What about like y'all are in Staten Island, right? Where you're
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would y'all ever
the edge of Staten Island?
Open to doing like a creator tour where you let a creator come in and kind of show the entire process from start to finish on video?
Oh yeah. I let people do it all the time. Just they're usually local people.
Dude,
You know what
I
mean?
want to
They're just
do that.
usually- Yeah, you can come in. You can come in and check it out. Like you can literally do the whole process yourself. Just like you put the card in the scanner, let it run. We'll show you how to run the bot that uploads the cards. Once it's done, I'll take you to the label machine. You can print it out yourself, and then you can even slab and weld it. Like I'm fine with that. You can do the whole process. I give tours all the time to people. They're just usually people who are local to Staten Island. If someone is interested in coming down to our office for the reasons of content, yeah, like we can go grab lunch, then go get a card. You know what I mean?
That's so sick.
Like absolutely. I do tours all the time. Not opposed to that. We've had people film them before. There should be some content out there of me giving somebody a tour. I'm sure there is. But yeah, absolutely. If you're ever interested, just shoot a message my way.
Heck yeah.
I'll be in the city in a week or so.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude! Like it's a great spot. It's a great spot. Uploading the card, depending on the amount of cards you give us, only takes a couple minutes. So usually what I do, like if it's if it's someone for content, we'll upload the card to the AI up to the into the orders bot. That's what it's called. It's called the orders bot, and it has like a queue of all the cards we scan. It gets uploaded. We'll usually go grab something to eat, come back. We'll take a look at the scans, print out the labels. Like it's really cool. It's really cool.
Awesome.
And it doesn't feel like a lot of pressure because we've done this live so many times.
That's so sick. Yeah, I love the openness to the whole company of like showing off even
Right.
behind the scenes and stuff is really sick. So I don't know if you can speak on this at all. I don't know if there's even any truth to it. I did hear a rumor floating around recently that there was an active lawsuit against Tag from AGS that has been dropped. I don't even know what that lawsuit is about. Are you able to speak on that at all?
No.
Are you able to
I
say if that's true at all or not? Like if there is even a lawsuit?
I don't believe that's true. I think that's a rumor.
Okay.
I do think that's a rumor. We have different types of patents.
Okay.
So the only thing that we may maybe have looked into is protecting the patents we do have. And I think that could be handled without a lawsuit. But I do think those are rumors. I can't speak behalf on like our legal team or like our owner, but I do believe those are rumors. They got enough to worry about. We got enough to worry about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to be ducking, but like that's
it's
the
not.
best answer.
Yeah.
Totally understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
completely
but
understand.
I think it's rumors. I think it's rumors.
Okay. Elliot, Missy, y'all got any more questions?
I was just gonna say I think we're coming up on time and wanted to thank you so much for coming on. It's just been great to hear it's like a passion project, collectors first. You guys are resetting the standard for grading companies. I personally can't wait to send in some cards. So
Same.
What
again,
is the
thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
What's the website where they can go if they wanted to grade with AGS and stuff?
They just go to agscard.com. That's very simple. It's very simple to make a submission. I hope you guys try it out and you give me your feedback. I know Vert has I know you've done that before. Please feel free to send some stuff in again. Like we'd love to have you guys. Keep an eye on our social media. We run promotions very often. Very often we run promotions for different types of things. Right now we have one-piece cards. Any one-piece card, no matter the bulk, is $8. And that's something I'm going to run as long as the feedback is positive about it. But we try to stay active with the community and try to make grading as affordable as possible. I really appreciate it being here today. It was a great time. I hope you guys got something out of it. Hope your audience gets something out of it. And if they ever want to chat, just hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, man, for not only coming on, sharing your time with us, but providing all the information, being super open to all the questions. It was a really dope conversation.
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna be grading with some AGS.
Same.
There might be
I am too.
some
Cool.
there
So
might
cool.
be
I'm glad to hear it, you guys.
there might be a test, a couple cut cards coming y'all's way.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Seriously.
All right, if it's 45-degree angle, I can't take it.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
thank
You guys
you,
have a great day.
Aaron.
Okay?
Great.
You as
You
well.
well.
too.
First of all, W's to Elliot for landing that podcast once again. Elliot was the one who really set that all up. And I just want to be clear. I've probably put this at the front of the video in the edit. This was not sponsored whatsoever. We just thought it'd be a really cool conversation. So that was just honest thoughts on all sides of us doing it. What did y'all think? How did it go for y'all?
Pretty nervous about it at first because I feel like this was like our first big interview, but the dude, he was really cool. He gave very detailed information on everything. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. He answered everything phenomenally. Like Misty said, went into great detail, branched off, gave us more detail so we could talk about other topics that we didn't really have on our list, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely going to grade with them, test out the process. Hopefully,
Same.
maybe I'll even snoop in that facility soon too.
yeah.
I know you're close.
That was super cool. We should all three do like we'll have to be in New York again at some point. We need to do like a collab where we all go in and test different things out or something.
Yes.
I will say too, like huge shout out to that guy because I don't want y'all to think I hate AGS or anything. I kind of wanted to go into this almost like good cop, bad cop is what I was telling them. But like I was shooting off some pretty hard questions because I know like some of y'all watching probably want those questions to be answered. And I think AGS, even throughout that interview, he built my trust a lot just talking to him of like, was very open to answering some of those harder questions.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Misty, you got hopefully y'all enjoyed the collab, man. That's really cool for us being like a newer channel, only 2 months in, and we landed a collab with AGS, a really big grading company. I mean, you heard it. He said they're about to grade more TCG cards than Beckett, which is insane.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was at that level.
It's really
cool.
It's really cool, but it's also like appreciative of y'all who watch us and comment and stuff because landing something like this early on a new channel is not possible without y'all helping us out. So very appreciative of that. All right, Missy, you got a question for him?
Yeah. I want to know how many of you guys have graded with AGS and what your thoughts are on AGS labs.
I like it. Jesse from Tag, stop ducking. Look, all I got to say right now, AGS 1, Tag 0. Okay? It's set in stone. Jesse, come make it a tiebreaker. Why's your hair slicked back like that, you little freaking Wolverine?
Because I'm a freaking swamp guinea Italian.
Dude, you know what comb I bet Elliot has? I bet he's got that like 99-cent comb that all the like 85-year-olds have. The black one that's got the half of its thick spokes, half of its fine. And you can tell he used the fine spokes on that thing today.
I got it, but it's light blue.
Do you have that comb?
Wait.
No shot. Oh my God, you're so good. All right, let's go get hydrated.
Let's go get hydrated.
Oh my God.